Fearless Female Fridays with Ayanda MVP on 947. Every guest will leave you feeling inspired, confident, and ready to take on the world.
Good afternoon, Lindi. How are you?
Good afternoon, Ayanda. I'm doing well, thank you.
What is your career entail and what is your journey from the beginning, from studying for the degree to where you are right now?
I grew up in Lamontville, a small township in Durban, but well known for its crime and its very interesting people. A lot of good people have come out of that township. I then studied industrial psychology at Wits. And after that, I started a traineeship with Standard Bank. That was my first job in a graduate program. I then moved into SAB in the HR space. At that point, I had wanted to continue with my master's. And I continued in the HR space, going into different types of HR, organizational development, the norm around generalist HR. And then after that, I started my executive career in ABI. So at that point, SAB was very involved with ABI. In fact, they had merged. So we were moved straight after my maternity leave into ABI. And I looked after a plant in Devlin. And from there, I went into, still HR though, I went into All Mutual. And from All Mutual, I went into Liberty, which is where I am now. The only difference now though, is that I've moved out of HR and I'm now into the business side of things.
If there was a category in the Olympics for persons in boards and in positions of superiority, you'd probably take gold medal, hey? You have done so much in this short space of time of being alive in life and just doing best. And you're also a mom on top of that. You went on maternity leave and came back. Was there ever a time when you felt a bit overwhelmed by all of it?
Well, when I had the maternity leave, I think I was going crazy because I'm the type of people that can't stand in one place or sit in one place for a long time. So I really battled with motherhood. I couldn't find the balance between being a mom and a career woman. And it's something that I think most of us struggle with because society labels us, in a specific way when you're a mother, and there's specific expectations around being a mother. It caused a lot of tension in my marriage too, because I had to find my step with my husband around that. But I think it worked out because we then agreed that we'll do it our way. We wouldn't do it the traditional way. And family support is a big thing when you're trying to build a career and also be a mom.
At the workspace, or maybe back in school, there used to always be cliques that people would join. Do you think that still happens at the workplace?
I think that there are cliques in the workplace. I think there are cliques when you have humans. It's behavioral. You cannot stop it. You get attracted to people who like what you like, people who have similar goals and similar visions. I don't think there's anything wrong with cliques. I think when cliques becomes a problem is when they become exclusive, when they start isolating others, when there is an us and them, that's when they become dysfunctional. So in the workplace, I think I don't have a clique as such. I don't feel a need to form into a clique. And maybe it's because I get involved in many, many things. At the moment, we're busy with the Women's Forum, which I am leading for Liberty at this point. And we also have a number of activities around coaching, sponsorships, even from just a business perspective, the projects that we get involved with, which involves all levels. So yeah, while there are cliques, I don't think that it's necessary to belong in one. You can be one of those people that fall into all cliques, and that's also acceptable.
The kind of challenges that you went through in your career that really boosted you in understanding that you belong here and you were made for this.
I battled with weight. You would have seen that I haven't won that battle still, but I've come to an acceptance about it. I've come to accept who I am. Instead of thinking about myself as a big person who must remain unseen in a room, I'm the big person with the big voice, able to present myself in the room. So just changing your perception about who you are and how you see yourself is important. I'm a very spiritual person, but I also have a very open mind about listening to other people, understanding where they're coming from. So not putting people into a box, because it's something that I detest when people think you're only capable of so much because of either of the degree that you've studied or of the exposure that you've had. So those challenges for me have been actually encouraging, in that I've used the very same challenges to stretch myself even more, to learn even more, open myself up to new experiences, learn from the people around me, like become a sponge. Ask the questions. If you don't know, ask. It's not going to be embarrassing. And because of that, I've been able to get really good opportunities with really good leaders.
What is the most important skill to have in your line of work?
Listening to people, understanding where they come from, understanding how they see your vision, because that's the only way that you're going to influence.
Quick fire questions. Just the first answer that comes to your mind at the top of your head. Braids or wigs?
Oh, no, braids.
Chicken or Boris?
Chicken.
Chiefs or golden arrows?
Chiefs, of course.
Hey, that's right. And last but not least, the first 5 things you do for yourself in the week to make sure that you are in tune with what you need to do so you can actually be great for your workspace and your work and your family.
I think the first one is just prayer. So I pray about the week, I pray about the day. Thinking time. So I've scheduled thinking time in my diary, because that gives me time to work through what I need to action or to delegate, etc. 3, my son's smile. So when he comes out of his door and he says, "Hi, mom, have a good day, mom," that sets me up for the rest of the day. I think 4 would be just making sure that I make time at the end of the day to catch up with my husband, to catch up with my family. I stay with my mom and my brother. And that's very important to me, because it's like a debriefing session. Like I have my own counseling panel in the house. And then the last one would be music. I love music. Any type. Into classic other days, I'm into kwaito other days, I'm into classic other days, all goes.
I heard apparently that you like action movies.
I do.
Really? This is one of the telltale signs that you're Zulu from KZN, is if you watch action movies.
Please don't please don't stereotype me. This is the influence of my 2 brothers. I've got a younger brother and an older brother. And this is their influence. This is what they fed me when I was growing up. But favorite movies, I think it'll be Terminator. Yes. All of them. So most of these are sequels. The Matrix, that's one of my absolute favorites. Lucy, any of the Avengers would do. And Dark Knight Rises, Batman Dark Knight Rises sequel. Yes. It takes me out of the zone. It's my layout time. I think about nothing.
Avengers, which is your favorite character?
So everything, the muscles, the thinking, the royalty, all of it.
Okay, so you're a regal type, huh? All right. Lindi, what is your quote that you use when you need to get through a tough time?
I grew up thinking nothing is impossible. Everything is available to me, whether someone else thinks so or not. The second one is from Chimamanda Adichie. She talks about single stories or single narratives. And that one is a key one, because often when you go through a challenging time or you face challenging decisions, you think about what is your perspective of the issue. And when she speaks about single stories or single narratives, I remind myself that whatever I'm seeing, whatever I'm perceiving at that point is from one side, which is my perspective. There's multiple perspectives happening at the same time. So it's just trying to empathize and putting myself in someone else's shoes, even if it really, really irritates me.
I think that's the kind of advice I would like to have heard when I was, for example, going through a breakup with someone sometime last year. I wish I could have understood that I need to understand it from their side as well and not see them. In my head, I was like, no, they're selfish. How could they do this to me? I thought we were working out. But thinking about that actually made me realize that I wasn't thinking for them also. I was just thinking for myself. But I mean, we are human, we're not selfish, right?
We are, but also, I mean, it doesn't mean that you were wrong, right? It doesn't mean that your perceptions were wrong. It just means that there might have been another truth to what was happening. And it doesn't take away your feelings, doesn't take away how you might have reacted or responded. So I always see it as there is another narrative happening here that I must keep in mind. So what it does, it helps me with not overreacting.
What makes someone fearless?
Being fearless is about taking your interest first. And sometimes it's just answering, up and defending yourself. And sometimes it is accepting yourself. Sometimes it's forgiving yourself. Sometimes it's pushing your agenda. So yeah, that for me, it's just putting your self-interest first, without forgetting other people, but you are the first person to think about.
Right now, there are a lot of girls in their late 20s, and we're just asking ourselves, as a woman who's always focused in her career, as a woman who's always focused and passionate about, being independent, how will I find the right guy? How will I find the person that I know will put up with me and be able to accept that I can possibly do more, or I do more that I don't need him to help me much with? I just need someone to cuddle. I need someone to watch movies with, Avengers, hold hands. But I just feel like right now there are a lot of women my age and we're struggling. Hey, we're strong and we're independent, but we want to be vulnerable, we can't be. So it's tricky.
I think it's about you as a person. If you know yourself really well, if you have learned about your likes, your dislikes, boundaries, I think boundaries are a big thing. We don't get taught about boundaries. We get taught to take care of others. We get taught to look after people. We get taught to be motherly. We never get taught to have boundaries around safeguarding ourselves, looking after ourselves first, getting to know ourselves so that we can add value to someone else.
I just know that I have so much love to give. So I'm just patiently waiting for the right person to come so we can have babies. And then I'll just be, ready for motherhood, because that's what I'm excited about now. Lindi, thank you so much for spending time with us on Fearless Female Fridays. And I hope you have a lovely afternoon. And I really do hope that we get to meet up and chat more about your action movies.
Thanks, Ayanda.
Thank you.
947 with Ayanda MVP.